Hello everyone, this is Muhammad Tuhami from Midway Simplicity and welcome to a new episode of the Midway Simplicity Show where I invite simple living advocates to show you how you can simplify the 5 most important areas of your life, which are time, health, things, finances and relationships. And today my special guest is Kathy Gottberg from smartliving365.com. She is a published author and writer for over 25 years, and she is passionate about helping people create a meaningful, sustainable, and rewarding life. In fact, the SMART term has a meaning beyond what we think of being smart. So I will let Kathy to describe this for us. Welcome, Kathy. How are you?
Very good. Thanks for having me, Tahami.
Thank you. So tell us about Smart Living 365. How did you start this, and what was the transformational point that led to that?
Well, I've been doing writing for quite a long time. And then about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, my husband and I really got really involved with the green and sustainable. I started writing lots and lots of articles of sustainability. Really got involved in it, and it's such an important movement. But after 3 years of writing articles and studying up on it and doing everything that we could possibly do in our own lives to be green and sustainable, I got tired of writing about technical issues because so is technical. And I thought what I really want to be doing and what I really think it's going to take to transform the planet in a green and sustainable way is for us to change from the inside out, our heart and our souls and our minds, obviously. So I thought, let's come up with something that incorporates that in a way that's much more holistic. So smart living is kind of the evolution of that. And SMART, as you alluded to, is an acronym that stands for sustainable, that's the S, artful, responsible, and thankful. And I figured with those five overriding topics, everything that I write about will fit.
Yeah, so it's sustainable, meaningful, artful, and responsible and thankful. Wow.
Thankful.
That's great.
Yes.
Wow.
And simple living is such an important part of that, because without realizing how everything is connected and how a complicated, cluttered, frantic life is not going to lead you to happiness. And really my goal, my passion is to share ideas about, like you said, happiness and meaningfulness and why we're really here on the planet, not just to buy stuff and be busy. So that's kind of a long story short.
Awesome. So let's start by a tip to simplify time.
Okay, because I'm a writer and not a speaker, I did go through and kind of make a few notes, but I promise they'll be fast. The time one that I came up with is, again, it's more of a holistic perspective instead of just a hard tip. It's more remembering whatever you own owns you. So my tip is everything you do, everything you buy, everything you purchase, everything you keep has a place in you. It holds you. And if you're not careful, you've got to spend time doing that. So if you want more time, pare down all that stuff and only keep what's important instead of buying what other people think you should buy, getting what, when I was younger, I kind of did that. And I've learned that through the long run, keep the things that are most important to you. And that's the best time-saving thing that I can offer anyone.
Awesome. So let's move to health.
Okay. My tip for health is moderation. That's something I've learned over the long haul. It's like I don't believe in really extreme examples. I know some people in minimalism and simplicity go to the extreme. That's one reason why I was drawn to your show and to your blog is the idea that you do realize that most people aren't going to go to the extremes. They are interesting, but the truth is most of us need to walk the middle path. And if we do the middle path, most of the time we will find more than enough satisfaction and make plenty big enough changes. So I'm not against anything. I'm more, let's be moderate about it. And that'll actually take care of your body and your soul and your mind. And the only other thing that I would suggest in the health area is to pay as much attention to your inside as you do to your outside. So many people are focused on exercise and diet and doing it the right way, and they kind of ignore your mind and your soul, and I think that's equally important.
Yeah, that's very true. The mind and emotions part are as important as the physical being when it comes to health. Yeah, that's great. So now to the things and the stuff that we own and this popular term decluttering and all this stuff. So what's your take on that?
Okay, decluttering is important. I used to have a lot more stuff than I have. And again, it's one of those things. What you own is going to own you. So decide what's important, get rid of all the extra stuff, and just go for what's really bringing, it's kind of like feng shui. Have you heard of feng shui? The theory of feng shui from China is the idea you shouldn't have anything in your home that doesn't bring you joy and make you feel good about yourself. If there's anything sitting around in your house that brings you down or distracts you or annoys you, please get rid of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be an overnight thing where you just like eliminate everything. It's been a very gradual journey for me and my husband. But I strongly recommend remember everything you own holds a piece of you, so decide whether it's important to you or not.
I received a question from a reader once that they own some items that are memorable to them, these items hold good memories, and they are expensive items, and they feel stressed of owning these stuff because they don't use them anymore and they will not use them anymore. Yes, they hold a memory, but it's just a piece that is sitting there that's very expensive and they are not making any use of it. So they are struggling. Shall they sell it, and sell it to whom? Because it's very rare to find someone who value this very expensive item. They don't want to sell it cheap and to anyone who doesn't really value this piece. And at the same time, they don't want to keep it and not making any use of it. So what's your advice on that?
Well, again, I think it goes back to everything you own owns you, and you're attached to it. So if something has extreme value to you and you can't just give it away, especially to somebody who can use it a lot more than I mean, some people have clothes. You drive around in my neighborhood, I don't know about your neighborhood, but my neighborhood, everybody has a 2-car garage. And a lot of people park on the street because their garage is full of stuff. Because they might need it sometime, or they don't want to waste it. They spent money on it and now they don't want to give it away. And instead of keep protecting their cars that they use every day, they put their stuff in there. It just drives me crazy. Because again, they're cluttering up their lives with stuff that's not being used. Probably the hardest thing that I ever gave away is, as a writer, I journal. I journal every single day, and I've been journaling for like 20 years, a long time. And I went back and I had rows of journals. And it's not like I go back and read them, but I had them and I knew they were there and they were part of me. And when I made this last move, when my husband and I moved into a house, we call it right-sizing instead of downsizing. We right-sized ourselves. I knew that it was silly to keep carting these things around. And not only do you have to move them, but then they're there and you have to have bookshelves. So I went through and took out the first 10 years and I put them in the dumpster. Well, I recycled. So that was good. Yeah. That was for me now they had no value whatsoever to anyone else. It was very personal, and yet I knew the time had come. Now I don't know if, I know girlfriends that don't want to give up a pair of shoes that they've had for 20 years. At some point you just have to say, why am I carrying this stuff around? And am I that pair of shoes? Am I that journal? No, I'm so much more than that. We stop identifying with stuff. That's what people in my opinion, have a hard time decluttering, is they're attached to stuff instead of recognizing what the true value of who they are.
Yeah. That's an awesome advice. I can relate very much to what you're saying in terms of writing a journal and having stuff that is part of us, and that's at some point we have to decide that it doesn't belong to our life anymore, and we have evolved much bigger than this past stuff. So let's move to finances.
Okay.
So how to simplify our finances?
I think finances are one of the most rich, that's kind of an interesting word, way of decluttering or simplifying your life. My husband and I are as debt-free as possible. Now, I know it's difficult and not everybody can do it, and it certainly didn't happen overnight. It was a long process for us. But even I'm amazed at how free I feel by being debt-free. Our culture, the US culture at least, promotes this idea of using other people's money and using credit to buy more and be more and all this stuff. And it's a trap. It really is a trap because, again, everything that you do has a price. It has a spiritual or mental coin attached to it. So everything you do takes your time or energy in one way or another. So how do you want to spend it? By not having debts, it's just amazing to know that you don't have to worry about making payments. And that is so liberating. So my highest advice to everyone would be to go as completely debt-free as possible. Figure it out. And then the second one would be don't work at anything you don't love doing. So many people, especially people in our age group. My husband and I are in our mid-50s, and everybody is talking about retirement. Retirement this, retirement that. And it's like, I don't ever intend to retire. You only want to if you don't like what you're doing. If you're trying to get away with what you're doing, find something you love to do so that you do it even if you didn't get paid for it. And then when you get paid for it, it's like, it's wonderful. Don't live based upon getting paid for things. So many people are so attached to, if I don't get paid for it, I won't do it. Well, you might never do what you love, and it's way more important. But what's the Confucius quote that says, if you work at what you love, you'll never work a day of your life. And I think that's critical.
Awesome. I love that one about passion and doing what you love. Awesome. So moving to the final part, which is relationships. And you have an awesome relationship with your partner, Tom. So give us some insights on how to improve, simplify, and have meaningful relationships in our lives.
Well, I'm happy to say that next Tuesday will be our 35th wedding anniversary, which is like...
Congratulations! Ooh.
So, I would say there's definitely been an element of luck involved in our relationship. When we got together, we were both fairly young, and we've grown together. But more than anything, I would suggest to people is form partnerships, and this is friendships too, with people who share the same values as you and the same concerns and the same likes as you. Because I see so many couples struggle when they're not on the same page, and they go through their whole relationship just trying to compromise. And it's not that Tom and I don't compromise, we do compromise, but there are so many things that we agree on. He's so supportive of my writing. He's as important to this website that I do as I am. And with the whole simplicity thing, we're both so much in alignment of that. I can't imagine being with a partner that didn't see that the same way as I did. And then also communication. You got to talk about it. And I'm not sure how simple that is, but it's critical. I think it's a very critical element. So, and the last thing I would say is to really have a simple relationship, a simple and good relationship with anybody. You got to first have it with yourself. You got to be comfortable with yourself. You got to appreciate yourself. Don't tell lies to yourself. I mean, you want to talk about simplifying. You just eliminate all untruth with yourself and with others, and that'll take you a long way.
Wow, thank you so much for the awesome tips and insights, Katie. And do you have final thoughts before we conclude the show?
Actually, I wanted to thank you and congratulate you because I've been... Smart living and simplicity is like a step to smart living, in my opinion, the simplicity movement, and it's really important. So many people out there are going, not so many people, but a lot of people are taking the simplicity and the minimalism to extremes. And I think I think it's so beneficial for so many people, but they might get turned off if they hear something that's too extreme. So I think you're offering, a unique perspective that's very cool. And I also love the video idea because it's a way of communicating that not everybody wants to sit down and read a blog post or whatever, but they might be interested in seeing a video. So I don't think anybody else is doing it, and I think it's a really cool thing to do. So congratulations on that, and I appreciate you making the invitation and inviting me here, and hopefully, we can continue our friendship.
Thank you so much. It has been an honor and pleasure to have you on the show today. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. And then about 6 years ago, my husband and I really got really involved with the green and sustainable. I started writing lots and lots of articles of sustainability. Really got involved in it, and it's such an important movement. But after 3 years of writing articles and studying up on it and doing everything that we could possibly do in our own lives to be
beyond what we think of being smart. So I will let Kathy to describe this for us. Welcome, Kathy. How are you?
Very good. Thanks for having me, Tahami.
Thank you. So tell us about Smart Living 365. How did you start this, and what was the transformational point that led to that?
Well, I've been doing writing for quite a long time, green and sustainable. I got tired of writing about technical issues because so is technical. And I thought what I really want to be doing and what I really think it's going to take to transform the planet in a green and sustainable way is for us to change from the inside out, our heart and our souls and our minds, obviously. So I thought, let's come up with something that incorporates that.
Finances and relationships. And today, my special guest is Kathy Gottberg from smartliving365.com. She is a published author and writer for over 25 years, and she is passionate about helping people create a meaningful, sustainable, and rewarding life. In fact, the SMART term has a meaning. Hello everyone, this is Muhammad Tuhami from Midway Simplicity, and welcome to a new episode of the Midway Simplicity Show, where I invite simple living advocates to show you how you can simplify the 5 most important areas of your life, which are time, health,